Hey guys, myself Raghav Ganesh and we are back with Intro to Machine Learning series by IST. Today we'll be going ahead with K-means clustering algorithm. So in the last session, we have covered about what is clustering, where is it used, how businesses use clustering, and what are the different types of clustering available and four different types of clustering analysis. Now since our main focus would be on K-means clustering, so let's dive into this. So what is K-means clustering? Well, a clustering algorithm whose main goal is to find the groups in the data. The number of groups or clusters is represented by key. The algorithm then runs iteratively to assign each data points to one of the key groups based on the features that are already provided. So the way K-means algorithm works is like this. First, we specify the number of clusters k. Then we initialize centroids by first shuffling the dataset and then randomly selecting k data points for the centroids without replacement. Then we keep on iterating until there is no change in the centroids. That is, assignment of data points to clusters isn't changing. So to understand k-means clustering algorithm, let's take this analogy. Say you're in hostel, you don't know how to wash your clothes. You have to do this job on your own. Now you have a heap of clothes in front of you and you're expected to wash them. So you don't know how to wash. So you ring up your mom and auntie says that specifications for each variety of clothes. Like some should be washed in hot water, some should be in warm water, and some should need dry cleaning, and some should need like ujala or something. So this is a perfect clustering scenario. Say auntie told you to divide the heap of clothes in three parts. So you are supposed to pick three different clothes at random. This would be your starting point. Say we picked a red shirt, a blue towel, and a black jacket. So this is like our starting point, and we use this to separate the clusters. Now we have to consider different attributes for the three initial picked ones. Say attributes like water temperature, color, drying, etc. Now you pick cloths from pile one by one and find the best suited cluster and place them. So what do you think the definition of a best cluster or best pile is? So it is not based on a whole cluster, it purely relies on the starting point. Technically, that starting item is also known as the centroid. But don't worry about that, we will get to know about that later. These items won't be identical, so pick the best match. If you want to be really detailed about this, so what you have to do is you are asked to place each item closer to or farther away from the starting item based on how similar they are. So the more closer will be to the starting point, more similar they are. Okay, now you have three different clusters, which means that you are ready to use the washing machine, but not so fast. We are just getting started. Well, there's a very this is a very iterative process, and the next step would be to determine that new centroid or new starting point. So we pick three more randomly initial clothes, and we do the entire process again. Those new centers would be calculated and may not correspond to an actual item of clothing. And we really don't know if these three clusters are an optimal number. So once we are completed with the iteration of three clusters, we can always go and try it with 4 or 5 or 6, 7 more number of clusters. So that's how K-means algorithm work. Let's take this example of a 2D dataset. Say there are number of clusters which is to be identified, and we are choosing say three clusters for example in this case. So what would be our first step is so we initially picked three random points and we marked this as red cluster, blue cluster, and a green cluster. So these 3 points are randomly initially picked. So next we take the first data point or first point. We find the distance from this point to the red cluster and this point to the blue cluster and distance from this point 1 to the green cluster. Now we know the three different distances. we map the point to the nearest cluster. So which means that the whichever cluster has least distance to the point, that point would be marked to that corresponding cluster. In this case, we can see that the first point is nearer to the red cluster. So we assign the first point to the nearest cluster, that is red in this case. And now we calculate the new like mean value including the new point for the red cluster. So the mean value for the red cluster would be somewhere in middle, exactly half. So this is our mean. So we'll use this mean as a reference to calculate for other data points. So next we move on to the point 2. We find the point, like we first find the distance from this point 2 to the red cluster, that is the red mean, and we find the distance from this point to the blue cluster, and next we find the distance from point 2 to the green cluster. We know that the distance between this point 2 and the red cluster is near, so we assign the point 2 as a red cluster. Then we calculate the new mean. So the new mean would be shifted towards the major part, or the part where two data points are there. Next we do the same process for the third point. So this third point is like it is also nearer to the red cluster or the red mean, the like comparatively compared to the blue clusters or the green cluster. Then we find the new mean. That would be like from this was the initial this was the previous case, and the mean would be shifted to half because there are four data points and it'll be exactly half. So we do this process in a iterative such that all data points are being like provided with a cluster. So we take this point and we find the distance from this point to the red cluster, and this point to the blue cluster, and this point to the green cluster. We can find that this point to the blue cluster is nearest, so we assign this data point to be blue, and we find the new median or like new mean, and similarly we do it for all other remaining data points. So this is the total variation within one cluster. So according to the k-means algorithm, it iterates over again and again unless and until the data points within each cluster stops changing. So we do like this is the first iteration, second iteration, third iteration, and we find that total variation within the cluster as follows. And this is the like algorithm, this is the pseudocode of the algorithm, or this is how the algorithm is supposed to work. Like first we specify the number of k clusters to assign, then we randomly initialize k centroids, and we do like we iterate until each point is been assigned to the closest centroid, and we compute the new centroid and new mean for each cluster, and this process will be repeating until the centroid positions do not change. Now let's see how to like the implementation part of k-means clustering algorithm in Python. So this is the implementation of k-means clustering algorithm in Python. So we first import different modules like pandas, numpy, matplotlib. So next df is a variable that is like pandas data frame, and x comma y are the coordinates of the data points. So all the data points chosen here are from 0 to 80, like they are completely random. So we use np.random.c to generate a random number. So we define k is equal to 3. So that is in this case, or in this example, I am interested in in forming three different clusters. So I'm expecting the algorithm to form three different clusters. So this like block of code is basically to choose the first centroid. So it will randomly pick x coordinate from 0 to 80, like randint of 0, 80, and from 0 to 80 it will pick another random integer, and this will form like the first centroid or our starting point. This is similar to the red t-shirt, the blue towel, and in our like the hostel analogy. So next we are plotting this. So in the output we can see that these are the different data points, which was this is scatter plot basically, and In this scatter plot, we are plotting the x comma y, these data points, and this block of code, which is basically to choose the initial centroids. So, and we are assigning three different colors. So in the scatter plot, we can see that we are passing the x coordinate, y coordinate, and the color k. When we are defining k to be 3, like we are interested in three different clusters. So this is color map, like where I'm mapping 1 to be red and 2 mapping for green and third cluster mapping for blue. So when I plot this, I get this output. So this is my first randomly picked or randomly choose the cluster centroid, red cluster centroid, green cluster centroid, and the blue cluster centroid. So now that we have like we have fixed our, like we know our starting initial points. Now next is the assignment stage. So this block of code is basically to assign like each data point to the nearest cluster. So what we do is we pass the data frame, the df variable, and the centroids. We can see that, and we are plotting the graph. So we can see that for say x comma y 12 comma 39, which is our first point, like x of 0 and y of 0, that is 12 comma 39, and that distance from the centroid 1 or the red dot is 26.9 units, and to the green or to the green cluster is 56.08 units, and to the blue cluster is 56.72 units. So we know that like 12 comma 39, this point is most like it's closest to the red cluster that we can see from the distances. So it is closest to the first cluster, that is red, and we are assigning a color red. And similarly with 20 comma 36, 28 comma 30, until for all our data points have been exhausted. So this is the scatter plot. We can see that this is the initially randomly chosen centroids or starting point. So this is red centroid, blue centroid, and green centroid, and all each data point in the data set is being assigned a cluster based on the distance. So what next? Next is the updation state. So what exactly happens in the updation state is like we update the centroids. So this is similar to the red mean line when we chose this. It is similar to this red line, this updation. So we know that for every point, like whenever each point is been assigned a cluster, like the new we'll have a new mean value, and we have to find that centroid. So let's go back to the code. So we update the centroids based on the data points, and we can see that the initially randomly chosen red centroid comes over here, and the blue centroid, like it's like a bit darker in color, and the green centroid is over here. So next is like we repeat this process. We know that it's an iterative process. So we repeat this process until we find until there is no change in like centroids, or and all the colors or like all the data points are being assigned to a correct color or a correct cluster. So we can see that this particular point which is there, this blue point, after the updation of the centroid has changed to red. So we continue this process until there is no change in the output. So this is a while loop, and we continue this process until there is no change in the output, and such that all the data points are being assigned to a specific correct cluster. So we can see that even the blue point over here is being converted to red, and this is the new red centroid. So we can see that this is the red cluster, blue cluster, and a green cluster. So this is how k-means algorithm work. So we first specify the number of k, like now that number k of clusters to assign. So we choose the number of clusters. Then we randomly initialize k centroids, and then we assign each point to its closest centroid, and then we compute the new mean or like the new mean for each cluster, And we repeat this process of assigning to the closest centroid and like updating to the new mean in an iterative process. Now let's see implementation of k-means clustering algorithm using scikit-learn. So scikit-learn has an inbuilt function called k-means, which would do the like which basically whichever we did above. We instead of writing long like blocks of code, it the scikit-learn provides you a module like a function named as k-means. So using this module, we can like pass the number of clusters. N cluster is equal to 3. So we are interested to this is the same data set and we are interested to separate this data set into 3 groups or 3 clusters. So when we run this, we get that like k-means detect the algorithm is auto and max number of iterations is 300 and number of clusters is 3 and so on. So next we define labels and centroids. So labels is the thing which we are going to predict. So this is basically we are plotting it and we can see that this scikit using scikit-learn we divided like it has divided the data set into 3 clusters like it has formed 3 different groups and we can see that the centroid positions are same and except for the fact that the colors are swapped. So yeah, so what we see that when we compare these two results, this one and this one, is that there is one different order of colors. And like when you take note of k-means clustering algorithm in a very, it's very sensitive to scale, like because it's due to its reliance on Euclidean distance. So what Euclidean distance is in 2D, it was just normal distance in which we have like which I considered in that example. Over here, it will be like the a root over a square plus b square. So this distance minus this distance, like this distance plus this distance, square like root over those two distance, and this is also known as Euclidean distance, which you would have learned in your like say like 10th grade or something. So we know that clustering, k-means clustering is very sensitive to scale. So we have to normalize our data. And like if they are likely to be a scaling problem, and this scaling problem arises due to like symmetries in data, or like some of the labels may be mislabeled. So this is the two different types of implementation of k-means clustering algorithm. And the first using modules like NumPy, Pandas, and Matplot library, and this is the output which we got, like red cluster, blue cluster, and green cluster. And the same thing is being identified by scikit-learn, and just for the fact like the colors have been swapped, we can see that centroid the same and all the data points have been labeled properly. So we have covered what is k-means clustering algorithm, how it works, and like the different types of implementation of k-means clustering algorithm. So I'm calling it for this session, and thank you guys. I hope you understood what k-means clustering algorithm is and how it works. Thank you.